There's a rhythm here you don't hear at first. It rises like steam from the forest floor at dawn, slipping through the branches of longleaf pines and catching its breath in the soft light of morning. You might think it's silence, but it isn't. It's the hush before an old story begins, the one told in wind and woven in kudzu vines, in porch swings that creak to the pace of memory, in tobacco barns standing with the weight of generations. There are places where time doesn't stop, but it does slow down enough to sit beside you, to offer you sweet tea, to remind you that wonder doesn't always shout. Sometimes it simply waits. You are the traveler now, and every step you take here will feel like the unfolding of a secret. Welcome to North Carolina, where the land is a conversation, between blue mountains and barrier islands, between jazz riffs in Durham and the salt spray of Wilmington. Drive long enough, and you'll watch the world turn, from red clay to ocean sand, from gospel choirs to bluegrass fiddles, from the hush of Spanish moss to the clang of tobacco auctions. In Cherokee, the elders still speak of the time before roads carved the land, when trails were made by deer and memory. And hidden in the Smoky Mountains, you can still find stone carvings too ancient to explain, as if the earth itself tried to speak first. Here, even the air is layered, with humidity, with history, with him. And between Asheville's patchless-scented corners and Charlotte's glinting glass, there are still two-lane roads that lead to nowhere in particular, and that's the point. Travelers who seek speed miss the soul of this place. But if you let your pace be borrowed from the sway of Spanish moss or the drift of a canoe, you'll notice what most don't, the way the light lingers in the holler after the sun's gone, or how a stranger's "bless your heart" might mean 5 different things. And one of them is kindness. Here's a tip. Don't ask for a barbecue unless you know the county. Easton style is vinegar. Lexington's is tomato sweet. Get it wrong, and you'll learn fast that sauces are sacred. The seasons speak their own language. Spring wakes up like a hymn in bloom. Autumn burns with a quiet fire. And summer settles on your skin like a memory you didn't know you missed. And if you're quiet enough in winter, you might hear a red fox laugh under the bare trees, as if it, too, remembers when this land was only story and sound. So come slowly, come gently, come ready to listen, because North Carolina doesn't shout. It whispers until your own silence answers back. The mountains hold Asheville like a secret, a town tucked into the bend of the Blue Ridge, where fog laces through the hills like forgotten verses of an Appalachian hymn. The streets hum with music, but not the kind that asks for your attention. This is the sound of craft and care. Banjos played by callous hands. A sidewalk saxophone just before dusk. A rhythm stitched into everything. Beneath the green canopy of trees, artists carve, weld, and paint stories into being. Even the buildings here seem to breathe. Bricks warmed by the morning sun. Mosaics that bloom across alleyways. Reminders that beauty doesn't always raise its voice. In the 1920s, the Great Depression nearly emptied the town, but the people stayed. A few, stubborn and silent, kept the doors of bookstores and bakeries open, with little more than grit and a sense that the mountains would protect them. And they did walk into Malaprop's bookstore, where resistance lives between the pages, or drink coffee in the shadow of the Flatiron Building, that slender sentinel of Asheville's resilience. There's a defiance here, gentle, artistic, and patient. For travelers, the Blue Ridge Parkway offers more than views. It's a meditation in motion. Every bend a breath, every overlook a pause. Hike early. The trails near Craggy Gardens are quietest at dawn. You'll see rhododendrons blooming like little pink miracles, and hear the stillness say your name. Locals will smile, then nod. That's the greeting here, soft-spoken, sincere. Don't rush conversation. Don't ask what someone does. Ask what they love. That's how doors open in Asheville. Come autumn, the mountains burn gold and ember red. Come winter, snow falls like a hush across the rooftops. And in every season, you'll find something quietly stirring. A drum circle in Pritchard Park. A whispered jazz behind a speakeasy door. The aroma of sourdough rising in a kitchen that's known loss and kept baking anyway. Asheville doesn't ask you to arrive with answers. It invites you to soften, to listen, to stay until your edges round out like hills in the fog. The ocean doesn't shout here. It murmurs, soft waves brushing the shore like the hem of a lullaby. Emerald Isle is not for spectacle. It's for those who find peace in the hush between tides, in the slow shimmer of morning light on salt, wet sand. This barrier island stretches long and narrow, a quiet refuge from the world hurry. No boardwalk chaos, no carnival clang. Just sea oats swaying, a breeze that carries the scent of brine and pine, and the occasional call of a gull that seems to be laughing at the wind. Locals tell of the loggerhead turtles, who return each summer to nest. Their journey, long, instinctive, impossible, ends in silence under the stars, where hatchlings emerge and scuttle moonward. Watch closely, and you might see the faintest trail in the sand, a fragile map of return. This place was once home to fish camps and quiet faith, where shrimpers rose before the sun, and the scent of diesel engines mingled with coffee and salt air. Now, cottages perch on stilts, but the rhythm remains. Sunrise, surf, supper, travel slowly here. Let your morning stretch as long as the tide. Swim when the water warms. But know that the true immersion happens above the surface, watching the horizon shift in watercolor hues, or finding a perfect shell, and knowing it doesn't need to be kept to be loved. A word of guidance. Respect the dunes. They are alive, anchoring this fragile place with roots deeper than they seem. Step gently. Take nothing but memory. At night, the stars spill over the Atlantic like lanterns set adrift. There's a kind of ache in that beauty, not sadness, but awe, as if the ocean is trying to remind you how small you are and how welcome. Here, you don't conquer a coastline. You surrender to it. Let the sea undo you. Let the wind name what you forgot. Let Emerald, I'll teach you the art of being still. And, for a moment, completely enough. Up here, the sky comes closer, not in brightness, but in silence. Lost Cove cliffs rest high above the world below, where the land falls away in soft waves of forest, and mist drapes the mountains like memory. This isn't a place you stumble into. It's a place you choose. A pull on the back roads, a trailhead that seems too quiet, and then an overlook that takes your breath, not with grandeur, but with grace. The name whispers of an abandoned town nearby, Lost Cove, where moonshiners once lived between ridgelines, a place unreachable except by foot and will. No electricity, no roads, just smoke, fiddle tunes, and the risk of living free. What's left are ruins tangled in roots, and stories scattered in birdsong. Stand here long enough, and even your thoughts hush. The wind knows how to carry what no voice can. If you come gently, bring nothing loud, just your eyes and your willingness to be still enough to hear the mountain remember. You leave the mainland behind, not just the land, but the noise. No cars, no highways, just a ferry ride through salt marsh silence to an island shaped like a whisper. Bald Head waits at the edge of the Cape Fear River, where the Atlantic folds itself into dune and drift. Here, everything moves slowly. Golf carts hum like bees. Palmettos rustle like pages turning. And the lighthouse, Old Baldy, watches, weather but patient. Built in 1817, Old Baldy has seen pirates slip past its shadow, Union ships on blockade, and hurricanes that try but fail to erase it. Climb to the top, and the view stretches forever, or at least far enough to make you forget where you came from. This island has no room for urgency. Time spills like sunlight over sea oats. Even the waves take their time here. Travel tip, bring bug spray, and reverence. Tread softly on the paths that wind through maritime forest. They're older than you think, and wiser than you'll know. At night, sea turtles rise from the dark water, dragging their ancient weight up the sand. And you might stand barefoot under a salt-sweet sky, feeling the hush of centuries around you. Bald Head doesn't ask much, only that you leave lighter than you came, and quieter. You won't find Burnett Branch in travel brochures. There are no neon signs pointing the way, just a gravel pull-off, and a trail that disappears into the hush of the forest. But follow it. Follow the sound. A low murmur at first, then clearer, until it becomes a song of water, rushing over stone, falling in sheets of white over moss-covered rock. Burnett Branch is more than a stream. It's a memory braided in water, cold as truth, clear as silence. This is the kind of place where time pauses, where ferns uncurl beside fallen trees, and sunlight filters through the canopy like a blessing. In the early 1900s, loggers worked this land, felling the hardwoods that once shaded these banks. But the forest came back, slowly, stubbornly, and now the only echo is the fall of your own footsteps and the call of the thrush deeper in the trees. There's no trail marker here, only intuition, and the rhythm of roots underfoot. If you come, wear shoes that know mud, bring water, and if it rains, let it. That's part of the story. Locals know that Burnett Branch isn't meant to be found, not by accident, not by map. It's revealed, and when you find it, you'll understand. Some places don't change your life. They return it to you. Snake Mountain rises in ridges and switchbacks, a spine of stone tracing the Tennessee border. Its name may hiss with danger, but what you find here isn't fear. It's breathlessness. From the trailhead near Zionville, you climb into quiet, past laurel thickets and tangled rhododendron, over slick rock and roots that reach like memory. Each step higher strips away noise, until only your heartbeat and the wind remain. At the summit, the world opens. Rolling valleys unfold like a green tide. In autumn, they burn with rusting gold. In winter, they hush beneath frost. And always, they wait for those who rise early, those who carry reverence in their boots. This mountain holds echoes. Old stories cling to the hollows, like the tale of a trapper who lived alone near the ridge, whispering to wolves and warning travelers of storms. Before weather ever turned, he vanished one winter. Some say he walked into the fog and became it. Travel tip: don't hike Snake Mountain in a rush. This is a trail of attention, of watching the sky shift between branches, of resting where the moss is thick and your thoughts are thin. Bring layers, bring stillness. The wind is sharp at the top, but the silence is sharper, clean enough to cut right through what you no longer need. Some peaks demand conquest. Snake Mountain asks for listening, and in return, it gives you sky. Morganton rests like a low note, steady, unhurried, a town nestled in the foothills where the mountains begin to breathe. Here, the Catawba River winds slowly, as if reluctant to leave the green hush that surrounds it. Walk downtown and you'll hear it, the quiet music of ordinary life, a screen door creaking open, the clink of coffee mugs in a corner cafe. The soft drawl of a hello that means more than hello. But beneath that gentle rhythm is a deeper current. Long before pavement, this was Cherokee land, a place of trails, fire rings, and sacred rivers. One path, called the Warrior's Path, ran right through Morganton, carrying traders, messengers, and memory. Now, some of it lies beneath asphalt, but listen closely, and you might hear footsteps that came long before yours. In 1842, they built a mental hospital here, a grand Greek revival building called Broughton. Some say it was ahead of its time. Others say its halls still hold the stories of lives misunderstood and voices forgotten. Today, art grows where silence once lived. Music fills the square on Friday nights, and sunflowers bloom behind chain-link fences. Travel tip: if you find yourself at Catawba Meadows Park, walk the greenway at dusk. Let the fireflies guide you. They know the way home. Morganton doesn't try to impress. It simply invites. And if you accept, You'll find that stillness is not the absence of sound, but the presence of something deeper. Grandfather Mountain stands like a weathered sentinel, its jagged peaks etched against the sky like ancient scripture. This is no gentle mountain. Its cliffs are sharp, its winds fierce, and its stories steeped in legend and lore. At 5,946 feet, it's among the highest points in the state. But the climb here is more than vertical. It's a journey through time, through moss-draped rhododendrons, ancient spruce forests that whisper secrets, and boulder fields that echo the footfalls of long-gone travelers. One legend tells of a Native American chief named Wahunsenkaw, said to have watched the mountain from afar, his gaze lingering on the rocky summit as if guarding something sacred. Local folklore speaks of the mile-high swinging bridge, a narrow span suspended between peaks, where visitors confront fear and awe in equal measure. Grandfather Mountain is also a sanctuary, home to bears, eagles, and elusive cougars who roam its slopes. Conservation efforts here protect this fragile wilderness, reminding us that wildness is a gift, not a given. Travel gently, wear sturdy boots and bring layers. Weather changes faster here than you expect. Arrive early to avoid crowds and catch the morning light spilling over valleys painted in hues of amber and green. At sunset, the mountain glows, an ember against the fading sky, a reminder that even the oldest stones hold a story waiting to be told. Lake James lies like a glass mirror nestled among the rolling hills, its waters stretching wide and still beneath a sky that changes like a whispered promise. Here, the forests lean in close, their reflections weaving with ripples made by a lone heron's wingbeat. The lake was born in the 1920s, a creation of human hands, shaping the earth to harness energy and power. Yet, even in its engineered beginnings, it holds a wild heart, where beavers build their quiet homes, and ospreys soar on the thermals, their cries echoing against the pine-scented breeze. Near the shore, old cabins stand like memories carved in wood, each telling a story of summer days and twilight fishing, of fires crackling under starry blankets, and the soft laughter of families who learn to listen to the lake's slow breathing. Locals speak of the ghost lights that sometimes dance on the water at night, flickers that defy explanation and invite wonder. Folklore says they're the spirits of fishermen lost long ago, still searching for their way home. For travelers, Lake James offers peace and motion. Kayak through its coves at dawn. Let the cool water hold you as the sun rises warm. Watch for deer at the edge of the forest, and carry binoculars for the hidden life of the marshes. A gentle caution: swim near marked areas, and respect the quiet places. This lake listens. As day slips to evening, the lake's surface turns molten, catching fire from the fading sun. And in that glow, you might find yourself whole again. Freedom Park breathes quietly in the heart of Charlotte, a green refuge wrapped in the hum of the city. paths curve beneath towering oaks, where dappled sunlight filters like whispered secrets, and laughter mingles with the rustle of leaves. Once a dairy farm, this land transformed in the 1940s, becoming a place where families gather, children chase light and shadows, and elders pause on benches worn smooth by time. The park holds a quieter history, too. Not far from the playgrounds and ponds, a memorial honors those who fought for freedom and justice in North Carolina's complex past. The stories etched there are both painful and proud, reminders of struggles that shaped the community's soul. Travelers will find welcome here. Take a slow stroll around Lake Wylie. Watch the herons glide over the water, and in spring, marvel at the azaleas blooming like bursts of flame. Picnics under the canopy invite shared moments, a pause in the city's rush. Respect the quiet spaces. Freedom Park is a living breath, a place to remember, to rest, and to connect. Greensboro moves with the steady pulse of a city that remembers its roots. Historic brick streets tell stories of civil rights marches, of voices rising in unison against the silence of injustice. Today, the city's heartbeat blends old and new. Coffee shops hum beside century-old theaters, and murals splash color over walls once gray with hardship. The International Civil Rights Museum stands as a quiet sentinel, its exhibits drawing visitors into the deep, complicated truth of change. But Greensboro's spirit isn't only history, it's music, laughter, and resilience. Farmers' markets burst with summer's bounty, and local festivals gather neighbors beneath open skies. Travelers here find warmth in unexpected places, in smiles shared over a plate of pulled pork or a cup of sweet tea. Speak softly, listen well, and you'll discover a city willing to share its story, without asking for anything in return. The Great Smoky Mountains rise like a slow breath, their peaks veiled in a timeless mist, soft as whispered prayers. Here, the forests thicken with hemlock and fir, and the air is thick with the scent of earth and rain. Streams tumble over mossy stones, carrying stories from the Appalachian's ancient heart. The name Smoky comes not from fire, but from the blue haze that drapes the mountains at dawn, a natural fog born of countless trees releasing oils, painting the landscape in watercolor mystery. Hidden in these woods are the remnants of old homesteads, where families once carved lives from rugged soil, living simply, guided by seasons and stars. There's a tale of a hermit named Smoky Sam, who wandered these trails with only a dog for company, his quiet presence a reminder of solitude's power. Visitors find solace on paths like Clingman's Dome, where the world stretches wide and wild. And in the hush, you can almost hear the mountain breathing. Travel gently here. Stick to trails. Respect the wildness. The Smokies hold secrets, and if you listen close, you might hear their stories unfold. Lewisville is a quiet place where time seems to fold back on itself. Small town streets lined with modest homes, porches where neighbors nod in greeting, and a pace that invites you to slow down and breathe. Once a hub for tobacco farming, the town still carries that earthy scent, a reminder of lives rooted in soil and sweat. In autumn, The trees blaze with fiery reds and golds, and festivals bring the community together in celebration. Travel tip: if you pass through, stop by a local diner. Order something simple and homemade. It's the kind of food that tastes like belonging. Lewisville doesn't ask for much. It offers instead a moment of quiet grace, a space to remember how soft the world can be. Chimney Rock rises like a jagged sentinel above Lake Lure, its stone spire piercing the sky with quiet authority. This iconic landmark has watched over the land for centuries, witnessed the seasons folding into each other, and the slow passage of people who come seeking its view. The air here is thick with the scent of pine and wildflowers, and on clear days, the horizon stretches endlessly, layers of blue ridges fading into mist. There's a story of a young woman named Lucinda who lived in a nearby village in the 1800s. She climbed Chimney Rock alone, carrying a lantern to light the way, searching for her lost love rumored to be trapped in the mountains. Though she never found him, her bravery became legend, a testament to hope and heart that still whispers on the wind. For travelers, the climb is both challenge and meditation. Wear sturdy shoes and pace yourself. The final ascent is steep, but worth every breath. In spring, wild azaleas bloom along the trails, painting the forest in pink and white, while autumn cloaks the mountain in fiery hues. Chimney Rock isn't just a place to see, it's a place to feel, to stand still, breathe deep, and remember that every peak holds its own story. The Blue Ridge Mountains unfold like a painted dream, ridges rolling endlessly, kissed by morning mist and sunlight. Here, the air carries a scent of pine and earth, and every turn reveals a new shade of green, softening into blues and purples as the day wanes. This range is ancient, older than memory, a backbone to the Appalachians, holding stories in every crevice and creek. Long ago, the Cherokee called this land home, their footsteps still echoing in the quiet trails. They believed the mountains were sacred, a place where spirits walked alongside the living. Travelers often come for the Parkway, a road that meanders with reverence, offering overlooks where time seems to pause. Hike the trails early, when the forest is still waking. Listen for the rustle of salamanders, the song of wood thrushes, and the gentle whisper of leaves. In autumn, the mountains become a firestorm of color, reds, oranges, golds blazing against the sky. It's a season of fleeting beauty, a reminder to slow down and simply be. Be mindful, tread softly, leave no trace. These mountains hold their secrets close, and in their stillness, they offer a quiet sanctuary. Boone is a town perched between mountains and myths. where history and nature blend like the smoky aroma of a campfire. Named after the legendary Daniel Boone, this place hums with stories of exploration and stubborn spirit. The streets here are framed by brick storefronts, coffee shops steaming with early risers, and the laughter of students from Appalachian State University, whose footsteps echo the dreams of generations. Beyond the town's edges, the landscape swells, rolling pastures, dense forests, and peaks that stretch toward the sky. The Blue Ridge Parkway weaves nearby, offering access to trails that lead to waterfalls and vistas. One tale tells a hidden cave where settlers once sought refuge, its dark interior a silent witness to hopes and fears. Locals still whisper about the ghost light that appears near the town at twilight, a flickering flame said to guide lost souls home. Boone is a place to wander slowly. Visit the farmer's market on a Saturday morning, where fresh apples, honey, and crafts mingle with conversation. Learn to say y'all with a smile. It's more than a word, it's an invitation. Seasons shape Boone's soul. Wildflowers bloom in spring. Summer festivals pulse with music, and autumn paints the mountains in fiery hues. Travel tip: pack layers. Mountain weather changes fast. Take your time, listen to the stories in the wind, and let Boone's quiet magic settle in your bones. Mount Mitchell stands as the highest peak east of the Mississippi, its summit reaching 6,684 feet into the sky, a silent giant watching over the Blue Ridge. The mountain slopes are cloaked in ancient spruce and fir, their needles whispering secrets to the wind. Clouds often gather here, swirling in mist and mystery, turning the trail into a living painting of gray and green. Early explorers called it Black Dome, a name earned from the dense forest that shrouded its sides. But locals knew it as a place of power, where Cherokee legend spoke of spirit gatherings and sacred fires. The first recorded ascent in 1835 marked the beginning of scientific curiosity. But it's the mountain's raw presence that stays with you, a reminder of nature's endurance. Travelers climbing Mount Mitchell will find well-marked trails, but the altitude demands respect. Bring water, warm layers, and a steady pace. At the summit, the panorama stretches for miles, a quilt of ridges rolling into the horizon, each peak a story waiting to be heard. In winter, frost and snow transform the mountain into a silent cathedral, where footprints tell tales of perseverance. Mount Mitchell asks only that you listen to the wind, to the trees, and to the quiet echo of your own breath. Whiteside Mountain stands like a silent sentinel, a sheer cliff face dropping into the valley below, its granite walls worn smooth by wind and rain. From its summit, the world stretches wide, a mosaic of forest, river, and sky. This mountain holds secrets. Among them, a natural cave called Rocky Shelter, used for centuries by native peoples as refuge and ritual space. Archaeologists have found tools and pottery here, quiet reminders of lives lived long before roads and maps. Visitors who climb Whiteside's trails will find solitude and awe, the kind that humbles even the loudest thoughts. The ascent is steep but steady, rewarded by views that seem to breathe. Travel gently. Bring sturdy shoes, water, and patience. Listen for the whisper of wind through the pines. It carries stories older than the stones beneath your feet. Whiteside Mountain is a place to stand still, to remember that some things endure. Tarboro is a town woven from history's gentle threads, where brick-lined streets curve softly beneath towering oaks, and the scent of magnolias lingers like a quiet song. Founded in the 18th century, it carries the weight of centuries without ever seeming heavy. Walk through the historic district, and you'll find homes painted in pastel hues. Their porches a stage for stories whispered in warm evening air. Tarboro's heart beats with a rhythm of resilience and renewal, a place where community is crafted from shared moments. One little-known tale tells of the Vigilant Fire Company, founded in the 19th century by townsfolk who answered the call. Before fire departments were common, their legacy still echoes in the volunteer spirit that threads through the town. The Tar River runs nearby, its waters slow and steady, reflecting the changing skies. Local fishermen cast lines with patience. Their quiet ritual is old as the town itself. For travelers, Tarboro offers a refuge of calm. Stroll the town square in spring when dogwoods bloom like snow, or visit during the annual Arts and Craft Festival, where handmade treasures speak of tradition and creativity. Respect the pace here. Tarboro asks that you slow down, listen to the stories carved in wood and stone, and leave with a heart a little lighter than when you came. Wrightsville Beach stretches like a golden ribbon along the Atlantic, its sand soft underfoot and kissed by salt and sea breeze. This place is alive with motion, the curl of waves rolling in, the flight of pelicans skimming low, and the laughter of children chasing tides. The town grew from a sleepy fishing village into a haven for surfers, sailors, and those who chase the horizon. But even with the buzz of activity, Wrightsville keeps a rhythm all its own, a balance between sun-soaked adventure and quiet reflection. A lesser-known story whispers of a U.S. Coast Guard's early days here, when volunteers patrolled these shores to protect the coast. Their courage still ripples in the salty air. For travelers, the beach offers more than sun and surf. Kayak through the intracoastal waterway. Explore the salt marshes where egrets stand like statues, or simply sit with your toes in the sand as the sun dips low. Respect the tides and the fragile dunes. They guard the island's delicate balance. As evening falls, the sky blazes in fiery hues, and the sea carries the last light with a gentle roar. Wrightsville Beach invites you to breathe deep, to feel the endless rhythm of the ocean, and to become part of its timeless story. Durham pulses with a quiet confidence, a city shaped by tobacco roots and now blooming with innovation. Brick warehouses have morphed into art galleries and craft breweries, where old and new dance in a smoky, soulful rhythm. The streets hum with stories of Black Wall Street, where African-American entrepreneurs thrived in the early 20th century, and of civil rights marches that carved paths toward justice. Strolling through the Haiti Heritage Center, you can feel the resilience etched into the very bricks. Durham's heartbeat is also found in its food: sweet barbecue sauces, farm-to-table freshness, and coffee shops where the aroma invites slow conversation. Travel gently here. Visit Sarah P. Duke Gardens in spring, where azaleas burst into bloom, and take time to wander the American Tobacco Trail, where nature and history meet in quiet harmony. The city carries a spirit of reinvention, but beneath the buzz there's a softness, a sense that every story matters, every voice deserves to be heard. Durham invites you to be curious, to listen deeply, and to become part of its ever-unfolding tale. Lake Hickory lies like a hidden gem nestled among rolling hills, its calm waters reflecting the ever-changing sky. The lake's shores are fringed with pine and hardwoods, where the scent of earth mingles with the fresh breeze. Created in the early 1920s by damming the Catawba River, Lake Hickory transformed the landscape, bringing new life and recreation to the region. Fishermen cast lines for bass and catfish, while kayakers glide silently over glassy waters, their paddles stirring only whispers. Local legends speak of a mysterious light, sometimes seen dancing on the water at dusk, a flicker that has no explanation, but invites wonder and quiet contemplation. Travelers seeking solitude will find peace here, hike the nearby trails, or settle on the shore with a book and let the lake's stillness wash over you. Respect the fragile ecosystem, leave no trace, and tread softly as the sun sets. Lake Hickory becomes a mirror of fire and sky, and in that quiet glow, you might feel the lake's ancient pulse, a rhythm both gentle and enduring. Winston-Salem carries a scent of tobacco and tradition, a city where history breathes through brick-lined streets and quiet courtyards. Known as the City of Arts and Innovation, it balances old-world charm with a creative pulse that hums beneath the surface. Walk through Old Salem, and you'll step back into the 18th century, where Moravian settlers shaped the town's character with faith and craft. Timber homes and cobblestone paths hold stories of resilience and hope, echoing with the footsteps of those who carved life from the land. Winston-Salem's heart beats in its vibrant art scene. Galleries and theaters bring color and sound to every corner, while farmers' markets offer the taste of local harvests. A lesser-known story tells of the Moravians' careful preservation efforts, protecting their heritage even as the city grew around them. Travelers are invited to savor the balance, stroll the downtown streets at dusk, catch a show at a historic theater, and pause to appreciate the blend of past and present. Bring comfortable shoes, take time to explore, and listen closely. Winston-Salem whispers tales only those who slowed down can hear. Raleigh hums with a quiet energy, a city where history and progress meet in a dance as old as time. Capitol buildings rise against a backdrop of sprawling oaks, and streets pulse with the footsteps of students, dreamers, and doers. Founded as the state capital in the late 18th century, Raleigh carries stories of revolution and renewal. The North Carolina Museum of History holds artifacts that whisper of a past both proud and complicated, while contemporary art spaces showcase voices shaping the future. Beneath the city's buzz lies a rhythm of neighborhoods, each with its own flavor, from the historic charm of Oakwood's Victorian homes to the vibrant energy of Glenwood's South's nightlife. Travel gently here. Explore the green spaces like Pullen Park, where children's laughter rings clear, and the rose gardens bloom in quiet bursts of color. Savor Southern hospitality in small cafes, where menus tell stories of tradition and innovation. Raleigh invites curiosity, to listen, to learn, and to become part of a city ever unfolding. Wilmington breathes with a salty breeze, its streets lined with oak trees dripping Spanish moss, and history that hums beneath every brick and boardwalk. This port city has long been a crossroads of sailors, storytellers, and dreamers chasing the horizon. The Cape Fear River winds lazily through town, reflecting the graceful spires of churches and the bustle of the waterfront. Walk the Riverwalk, and you'll hear echoes of steamboats, whispers of Civil War skirmishes, and the vibrant pulse of a city reborn from its past. Wilmington's historic district dazzles with antebellum homes, art galleries and cafes tucked into old warehouses. But beneath the charm lies a complex story, one of resilience and reconciliation, where the past is never far from the present. Travelers are drawn to nearby beaches, where Atlantic waves meet soft sand, and to the film studios that bring stories to life. Don't miss the battleship North Carolina, a silent guardian anchored along the river, telling tales of courage and sacrifice. Respect the city's layers. Listen, watch, and walk gently. Wilmington invites you to explore its many faces, to find your own place in its unfolding story. Lake Norman stretches wide, a shimmering mirror, reflecting the endless sky and whispering winds. Created in the 1960s by damming the Catawba River, this man-made lake quickly became a refuge for those seeking peace and play. The shoreline curves gently, dotted with marinas, wooded parks, and quiet coves, where herons stand patient as the water shifts. The lake invites boats, kayaks, and fishermen, each drawn to its calm embrace. Local lore tells of the Lake Norman monster, a shadowy creature glimpsed beneath the surface, sparking stories and smiles in equal measure. Travelers will find trails weaving through forests, places to picnic beneath towering trees, and spots perfect for watching sunsets bleed into the water. Respect the lake's delicate balance, avoid disturbing wildlife, and carry out all you bring in. As evening falls, Lake Norman's surface catches fire from the fading sun, and for a moment, you might feel the lake's quiet heartbeat, steady, enduring, and alive. The New River is one of the oldest rivers on the continent, flowing northward through the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, a ribbon of water weaving through time itself. Its currents carry whispers of ancient forests, of settlers carving paths and native tribes who called this land home. Here, the river is both wild and gentle, its waters carving deep gorges, while meadows and wetlands stretch alongside, a haven for wildlife and solitude seekers. Rafting down the New is a journey of contrast, rapids that quicken your pulse, then quiet stretches where the world softens into a hush. Along its banks, stories linger. The tale of a hermit who lived alone for decades, his cabin a secret hidden by trees and time. Fishermen cast lines into clear pools, hoping for trout or smallmouth bass. while birds will overhead, painting arcs in the sky. Travelers here find refuge in the river's rhythm, paddle early to catch the mist rising from the surface, and bring layers. Mornings can be crisp even in summer. Respect the fragile ecosystem, leave no trace, and listen deeply to the river's song. As the sun dips low, the new river glows amber and gold, and you might feel the pulse of an ancient heartbeat, one that has carried stories for millennia. The Watauga River winds its way through mountain valleys, a lifeline etched into the land, carrying stories both wild and tender. Its clear waters sparkle beneath sun-dappled canopies, where trout dart like silver ghosts. For centuries, this river was a vital route for the Cherokee, its banks a place of gathering, fishing, and sacred ceremonies. Today, the river invites anglers and paddlers alike, its gentle rapids offering both challenge and calm. Along the shores, wildflowers nod in the breeze, and osprey will high, scanning for a catch. Local lore tells of the Watauga's Ghost Band, where some say spirits linger, guardians of the river's ancient soul. Travelers should come prepared. Bring sturdy shoes and waterproof gear, and respect the river's rhythms. Early morning visits reward you with mist rising, like a veil over the water's surface, a moment suspended between night and day. The Watauga carries a quiet power, a reminder that life, like water, flows forward, shaping, carving, and renewing. DuPont State Forest is a sanctuary of waterfalls and ancient woods, where streams carve delicate paths through moss-covered rocks. The air is thick with pine and earth, a quiet invitation to slow down and listen, famous for its cascading falls. The forest draws hikers and nature lovers seeking refuge from a rush of everyday life. Triple Falls, High Falls, and Hooker Falls each tell a story. In water and stone, whispers of time and patience. This forest holds secrets beyond its beauty. It was once private land, saved by a passionate coalition who fought to keep it wild and free for all. Travel gently here, stick to trails, carry out your waste, and respect the delicate balance that makes this place so rare. In every step, you'll find connection to earth, to water, and to the slow unfolding of life itself. Kerr Reservoir rests quietly beneath rolling hills, its broad waters stretching like a calm invitation. Created in the 1960s, it serves as a refuge for wildlife and a playground for anglers and boaters alike. The reservoir's gentle shores are framed by forests that shimmer in the changing seasons, a tapestry of greens in spring and summer, fiery reds and golds come autumn. Local fishermen speak of the reservoir's bounty, bass and crappie hiding beneath lily pads, waiting for patient lines to cast. Travelers seeking peace will find it here, whether casting a fishing rod, paddling a kayak, or simply sitting quietly at the water's edge. Respect the natural rhythms, avoid disturbing nesting birds, and carry out all your trash. As daylight fades, the reservoir becomes a mirror for the sky's slow dance, offering a moment of stillness that lingers long after you leave. The freeway in North Carolina stretches like a ribbon of possibility, cutting through forests, fields, and towns with steady purpose. Its asphalt hum is a modern pulse, a thread connecting past and present. Urban life and quiet countryside. Driving here is more than transit. It's a passage through changing scenes. Early morning mist lifting off fields, sunlight dappling through tall pines, and glimpses of small towns where porch swings sway gently in the breeze. Along the roadside, billboards and signs tell stories of local diners, historic landmarks, and roadside markets bursting with fresh produce. Travel tip: drive attentively, watch for wildlife crossing at dawn and dusk, and respect speed limits that wind through scenic areas. The freeway reminds us that the journey is part of the story, each mile a step toward discovery. The journey through North Carolina comes to a gentle close. Like the last light fading softly behind the Blue Ridge, we've wandered mountains and rivers, towns and shores, each place holding its own quiet magic, its own whispered stories. This land is more than scenery. It's memory, mystery, and meaning woven together. It invites us to listen, to slow down, and to find connection in the breath of a pine forest, in the sparkle of a quiet lake, in the pulse of a city's heartbeat. As you carry these stories with you, may they inspire you to travel not just with your feet, but with your heart and soul, to seek the hidden, to honor the forgotten, and to become, for a moment, the traveler who truly sees. North Carolina is a story still unfolding, and now you are part of it.